Welcome to The Explainer. All right, let's talk about a term you hear absolutely everywhere these days, artificial intelligence. It's gone from just being in movies to being a part of our daily lives. But what is it really? And how in the world did we get here? Well, we're about to figure that out. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with what AI actually means, then untangle how it relates to things like machine learning. After that, we'll take a super quick trip through its surprisingly long history, see how it's already shaping our world, and finally, we'll get into the really tough questions we just can't afford to ignore. All right, let's jump in. Okay, first things first. When you hear somebody throw around the term AI, what are they actually talking about? Let's cut through the hype.
Yeah, forget the killer robots and talking cars for just a minute. At its very core, artificial intelligence is a whole field of computer science with one, well, pretty ambitious goal.
So when you boil it all down, AI is about building computer systems that can do things we normally think of as, well, human. Things like learning from experience, spotting patterns, understanding what we say, and, making decisions. Of course, AI isn't the only buzzword out there. You've probably heard machine learning and deep learning tossed around, sometimes like they're the exact same thing. They're definitely all related, but they're not interchangeable. So let's clear up how this family tree actually works. The best way to picture this is like one of those Russian nesting dolls. You've got the big doll on the outside, and then you open it up, and there are smaller, more specific dolls tucked right inside. Okay, so here's the breakdown. AI is the big picture, the whole nesting doll. Now, machine learning is a part of AI. It's a specific technique where instead of programming every single rule, we let the machine learn for itself by feeding it tons of data. And deep learning, that's an even more powerful type of machine learning that uses these complex structures called neural networks, kind of loosely based on the human brain, to do some seriously heavy lifting, like recognizing your face in a photo. So how did we get to this point? This stuff didn't just pop up overnight. The story of AI has been this wild ride of amazing breakthroughs, some pretty big disappointments, and then these incredible leaps forward. You can really see how things just took off. It starts as just an idea back in 1956. Then, fast forward to 1997, a huge moment. IBM's Deep Blue beats the world chess champion. But the real explosion, that happened around 2012. We finally had enough data and powerful enough computers to kick off what they call the deep learning revolution. And that led to insane breakthroughs, like AlphaGo beating a master at Go, a game that's way more complex than chess.
But it's so important to remember this wasn't just a straight shot to success. The field actually went through these periods called AI winters, where all the hype died down, funding dried up, and it felt like a dead end. Usually it was because the computers at the time just couldn't keep up with the big ideas.
Well, those winters are definitely over. All of that history has brought us to right now, where AI isn't just stuck in a research lab anymore. It is all around us.
The short answer? Pretty much everywhere. And a lot of the time, you probably don't even notice it's there. Let's just look at a couple of quick examples.
Okay, let's start with healthcare. Here, AI is becoming this incredible partner for doctors. It's not about replacing them, it's about making them even better at what they do.
We're talking about algorithms that can look at thousands of medical scans, like X-rays or MRIs, and spot the early signs of diseases like cancer with stunning accuracy. Sometimes they even see tiny patterns a human eye might miss. But it goes beyond just that. It's also helping to predict how a patient might do, and even making hospitals run more efficiently.
And what about your money? Well, in the world of finance, AI is like this silent bodyguard that's on duty 24/7.
Every single time you swipe your credit card, machine learning algorithms are instantly analyzing that transaction. In a split second, they're checking it against millions of other data points to see if it looks like fraud. And on Wall Street, it's not just about security. AI is constantly scanning global markets, looking for investment opportunities that are way too complex for any human team to spot.
And then, of course, there's transportation. It is pretty much impossible to miss AI's impact here. It's the brain behind the self-driving cars we keep hearing about.
It's processing a flood of real-time data from all these different sensors just to navigate a chaotic street. But it's also working behind the scenes in the massive logistics network that got that package to your door, calculating the single most efficient route out of literally billions of options. It's making the whole system of how we move smarter.
Okay, but with all this incredible power to see patterns and make decisions comes a huge responsibility. We can't just build this stuff and hope for the best. We have to be intentional about building it right. Just Think about that for a second. When an AI system has a say in who gets hired for a job, who gets approved for a loan, or even who qualifies for a certain medical treatment, the stakes are incredibly high. These aren't just technical problems anymore. They are deeply human.
So this really boils down to a massive three-part challenge. First, there's the data itself. If an AI learns from data that reflects human biases, guess what? The AI will be biased too, maybe even more so. Second, we have to actively design these systems to be fair. It won't just happen by accident. And third, we absolutely need accountability. We need to be able to ask why an AI made a certain decision and make sure there's always a human in the loop.
And this right here, this is the single most important question we have to answer as we build this future. And it's not just a question for the tech geniuses in Silicon Valley. It's a conversation for every single one of us. Thanks for joining this explainer.